who we'll be looking at, this is in the wake of the Geordie Barrett signing news, at the players that you would sign long-term if you were New Zealand Rugby. So we're long-term, emphasis on that, all right? So what, 4 or 5 years? Taylor, you go.
Okay, this is my 5 players, and I looked at key positions as opposed to just the key players. 10 is a massive key position, and I chose D-Mac, but we probably need to sign another young 10, and I just don't know who that is as of yet. You look at the Highlanders and the Crusaders, and I know Jeff's going to disagree with me, but they're missing a key 10, and they need someone long-term, and I don't know who that is. I was close to picking Seven Perofeta, but I wasn't too sure if he is the 10 that they're looking at just yet, but we definitely need one, so D-Mac's my guy there. Taylah Lomax, I mean, front rowers are really crucial. He's someone who is good around the park, good at his bread and butter, which is scrummaging. So I think we need to keep him around long term. Cam Roigard speaks for himself. Everyone, I think, would have picked Cam. Asafo Aumua, I think this time last year I would have picked Samisoni Taukei'aho. But I think Asafo's just gone another level this year. He stood up, no Dane Coles obviously, and he's getting more game time. He looks fit. And then Tupou Va'i, another key position, a lock, an out lock, and he's been good in the competition. He's in the top 10 turnovers won. He's really busy when it comes to around the park, hitting the ruck. So those are 5 that I would lock in purely in key positions that we need to grow teams around.
I like just the explanation there. That's very good. Marshy, for you, did you have any crossover there?
Well, yeah, it's quite hard being put on the spot, isn't it? Because you're obviously thinking about wanting to sign quite a lot of players because there's a lot of talent in this country. But when you get asked to pick 5, yes, I had crossover with Cam Roigard. Ultimately, when I looked at it and thought, right, how am I going to answer this question? I'm going to answer it in a way when, even though I'm a very much I want the All Blacks winning every Test match, not World Cups, every single one. And I'm very, very focused on that. However, these were the players that I thought if we have signed at the next Rugby World Cup, then it'll go a long way to us winning it. So obviously Will Jordan, world class. Mark Taylah, he's still in amazing form. He'll be slightly just in his 30s at 32. But obviously Cam Roigard, that's a tie over from you, Taylor. Tamaiti Williams, I think, is crucial to the stocks in the future, the way he plays the game, and obviously Scott Barrett, who could more than likely be even the captain. So I kind of looked at it in that way, but I'd be really happy if the New Zealand Rugby Union, if they haven't signed those guys up. So just putting it out there.
Have you got some inside oil on the captain?
Not at all.
Oh, OK. Just in case. You mentioned Scott Barrett being the captain of the All Blacks. I'm not sure.
Well, I love some breaking news.
That's a possibility.
It's
definitely a possibility.
4 years' time, I was saying.
4 years.
So it's not right now.
Okay. All right, because he's one of the 5 I've picked as well, Scott Barrett.
Yeah.
I think he's critical. I looked at positions I thought would be really, really hard to replace if you didn't have that going forward, and he was certainly one of those. Here's my 5. And I think Damian McKenzie is critical. Yes, we've got Beauden Barrett coming back, but he's getting on in years. If you think of 4 years down the track, and to you, you're right about we want to win in the meantime. I think tight head prop is critical. I think Taylah Lomax has been outstanding. He's been a rock. He's become a world-class player. The Ruben Love one is definitely a now and in the future. He's a guy that's going to continue to develop. You picked him as your Form 15. I just love the way his game transcends the fact you mentioned and compared him to Christian Cullen. That's a high bar, and he's got some of those traits. But I think to me he reminds me of the early Beauden Barrett. Same thing. Sure. Ball in hands, ready to go. There's that leadership of Scott Barrett. And then the loose forwards, I just looked at someone I thought, I really like the way Peter Lakai started his Super Rugby season this year. 21 years old. He's got a long and big future in front of him, time to develop him. We've got a lot of guys who are already on contract, but he was certainly one of those. It was an interesting conversation. Now, I didn't have Cam Roigard or Will Jordan there, and I didn't have Mark Taylah. Mark Taylah is 28. Wingers generally for the All Blacks don't, and we've got plenty of guys who play in the outside backs. If we talk about Caleb Clark and Sevu Reece and Amoni Narawa and Atini Nano Satura, we've got plenty of guys who can play on the wing. These are guys I was looking at. I don't want a risk going overseas in 2 years' time. Yeah. I think there's plenty of guys to replace.
Well, on that's why I didn't pick any wingers, because we always have a multitude of wingers coming through. Every couple of years there's one that's putting their hand up. So I picked key positions where I think we don't have a lot of rotation. And the reason why I didn't pick wingers is because we have so many good ones.
I did the same at hooker, though. Yeah. I didn't pick any hookers for that very reason. We seem to find hookers, But this is just the philosophy of how you see where these players are at right now. But when you start thinking about it, we see it all slightly different. tells you there's some serious talent, right, that we're looking at.
And to all those 85 other players out there, we want you as well. Just
Actually, yeah, that'd be handy, right? Yeah,
keep them all.
Yeah.
Next week it'll be the breakdowns list of 10 players, just so no one gets offended and flies the coop. It'll be good. Hey, exciting time for me at the moment because I do get to do my very first trivia question